Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're doing a full face of first impressions, gather up a bunch of new products to try out for you guys. Some were a hit and others really not so much, so let's just go ahead and hop right into it. Alright guys, let's get cracking on these first impressions. My voice is a little off, I have been sick, so just ignore that, but we're gonna crack on with the makeup. First product is the Jane Iredale Beyond Matte Liquid Foundation. I was really excited to try this because I love their BB cream. Really nice full coverage BB cream, even though it's kind of a contradictory name, full coverage BB cream. But anyway, this is their new foundation. It's called the Beyond Matte Liquid Foundation. I got the shade M8. This is of course supposed to be a matte finish. And I believe this also claims to have medium to full buildable coverage. I did pick this up off of Amazon. It was pretty expensive, I think around $54. That was loud. It does come in a pump and you get a little less than an ounce. You get 0.9 fluid ounces. I shake this baby up. The shade was kind of hard to pick online. Some of the reviews were also saying how the shade range was just like hard to decipher. Oh, we have a primer. Whoops. Okay, before we put that on, I do have the 100% Pure Luminous Primer to try out. I have their mattifying primer and really like it, so I have high hopes for this one. It doesn't like look like I thought it was gonna look like, but it feels really nice on the skin. And you can tell there is a little bit of sheen to it, but it's not very obvious on the skin. It's sort of just a natural glow. Yeah, as you can tell, it did give me a little bit of a glow, but not too much. If you're oily, I think you could still use this because it's not over the top. And it has that same sort of like silicone feel that the mattifying primer does, but it doesn't have silicone in it, which is why I really love these primers. So yeah, I'm intrigued. It definitely come in handy for the colder months. Okay, let's get started with this foundation. It does look a little bit darker than my hand, but I do have a fake tan on. So I'm gonna start this with a brush and see how that works out. This is the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush, by the way. I started linking brushes below. So if you're curious about ones that I like, just check in the description. I have all of my favorites listed. Most of them are pretty affordable as well. I really like Real Techniques, and on Amazon you could get them for a really good price. This isn't looking half bad. The shade's definitely a little bit dark, but I think we can work with it. Okay, so this is actually my second time trying this foundation, and I'm not using a sponge because it does not work with a sponge at all. I will show you what happens if you even touch a foundation with a sponge. Like, can you see that? Let me turn the lighting down a little bit. When you touch it with a sponge, if it's wet at all, it literally picks up all of the foundation onto the sponge. I don't recommend using a sponge for this at all. I tried it at first with a sponge and I was just like, wow, this foundation is horrible with a sponge, which it's kind of annoying if I'm spending that much money for a foundation. I would hope that it would work at least with a sponge, you know, but we're gonna see how it works with a brush. I'm giving it another chance, but so far I really am not super impressed with it. Another thing I noticed is you need a ton of product just for like one side of your face. Like that was 1 or 2 pumps and it really only covered like this part of my face and not even my forehead. So that's another thing I'm not really too pumped about. Get it? Pumped. So I'm gonna do a little bit more for the other side of my face. Oh, I forgot my earring fell out. Let's just take these out. So here's what one layer of the foundation looks like. Really not that impressed with how it looks. I feel like it was a lot of work for not a very good effect on the skin, which is not something you really want in a foundation. And it looks a little bit patchy. I wish I could go over with it with a sponge, but you can't because it really just ruins the whole foundation. I feel like it's really hard to get an even finish with this. I've been blending it and I feel like it still looks very patchy. And it's not even that full coverage either. It's more of like a medium light coverage. Yeah, so I'm really not impressed with that foundation. I will probably be returning it. I will say that it is definitely drying down to a matte finish, so that's the one plus about it, but I really don't see myself ever using this foundation again. It looks pretty bad. We'll talk a little bit more on that foundation in my next foundation video about the full coverage foundations. So if you guys want to know like a very in-depth review, just keep an eye out for that video. Make sure you're subscribed. But I'm going to move on to concealer. I'm going to use the Ilia True Skin Serum Concealer. I'm almost out of this. Hopefully this will sort of even out my base because it looks super patchy right now. I'm gonna put a lot of this on to try to salvage this base. Hopefully that will work. Okay, I'm gonna attempt to use the sponge for the concealer. Hopefully it doesn't pick up on the foundation while I'm doing this. Okay, that concealer definitely helped. Still not in love with how the base is looking. I'm gonna throw on some of this Kjaer Weis lip balm. This was in this month's detox box. I also have a couple other products from that box. If you guys are curious, I think you can still subscribe to get the Kjaer Weis box. I will link it below. It came with this, an eyeshadow, also an eyeliner. Really good value if you've been wanting to try the brand. I think you could get it for as low as like, I think around $50 a month, and this alone I believe is like 40 something dollars, so pretty good deal. And this is a really nice lip balm so far. For our bronzer and highlight, I actually have some cream products here to test out. Also from Kjaer Weis. I was really excited. I haven't tried this brand yet. I've heard so much about it. I've been using this bronzer for a couple days now, but it's still pretty new to me, so still gathering my opinion on it. It's their cream bronzer in the shade Dazzling. These are really cool as well because they're refillable, so it is expensive at first, but then you could just refill it. Makes it very sustainable. And I'm really hoping that this will go over the Jane Iredale foundation well. Let's hope, because I really know this works well over my Pacifica foundation. But I'm just going to take this is a Luxie contouring brush. Then I like to use a brush for this just because I feel like it blends out the best. Really just get my brush loaded up with it. Then I blend it in circular motions. I've been really enjoying this bronzer. Isn't that so pretty? Just like the perfect tone. It's really not super pigmented, so it's easy to work with, and it just makes it look really natural as compared to like the Physicians Formula, what are those called? Like the bronzer sticks, those are really pigmented and you have to be careful. This I feel like is really user-friendly. You can just whack it on and it looks good. And it looks pretty shimmery in the pan, but when you put it on your skin, it is just really natural looking. You really can't tell there's any sort of shimmer in it. Okay, that's it for this Kjaer Weis bronzer. So far, I've been really enjoying this. It's not too dewy, and it lasts a long time, so it doesn't make you look super oily. I do have more normal to oily skin, and usually really emollient products don't last on me, but impressed with these so far. I'll have to continue to use them. And I didn't have any new blushes to test out, so I'm going to use the Ilia Color Haze Multi Matte Pigment. This is the shade Temptation, which is just like a matte, really true pink. I think it's really flattering with any look that I do. I'm just going to use it on the same brush because I'm feeling a bit lazy today. And these are really pigmented, so you need the smallest amount. Even that was too much. I'm just going to blend that in. I really am disliking how this foundation looks, so I'm going to take more concealer. I'm going to use the Cover FX Power Play. Just dot it. I want to clean up under here. It's looking really patchy. And just to lighten it up a little bit, I feel like it's just looking a little crazy right now, you know? And then just blending that in with a sponge. Alright, I think we salvaged the look a little bit. I'm going to set under my eyes with the Well People. This is their Brow Brightener Invisible Powder, the loose version. And then just setting with my Real Techniques setting brush. And the foundation is pretty matte, so I'm only setting under my eyes in the center of my face. And that is pretty much complete. Let's go ahead and move on to a cream highlight, new one I have to share. Okay, and the new cream highlight is also from Kjaer Weis. This is just their Radiance highlight. Just taking this on my ring finger and dotting it on the high points of my face. I have also tested this out about once or twice before, and I will say I really like the, how do I put this? Same with the bronzer, they are sort of oil-based, but they don't feel oily. They sort of feel like they're very velvety and almost like matte on the skin, which I really prefer. What is that? Which I really prefer for cream products because, like I mentioned, I have oily skin and I really don't like a super oily feeling product on my face. So these are just like the perfect mixture of, you get the really dewy look but without all that sort of oil sitting on top of your skin. And another thing I will note, the shimmer in this is super finely milled. So it barely looks like you have a highlight on. It looks very natural. All right, I think that's about it for our base. Since this look is really quick and simple, I'm going to show you my brows on camera today using the Eye of Horus Brow Define in the shade Light, which is just a really nice little brow pencil. Then I'm just going to start filling in my brows, obviously. And I usually like to start sort of on the middle of the arch of my brow, and then I'll work towards the front. But this is usually where I need the most filling in. I haven't been really filling in my brows a ton lately, just enough to make them look a little fuller. I'm just gonna do the same on the other eyebrow, and then we'll do some brow gel to set them in place. All right, that's that for brows. I'm going to use my Eco Brow Gel to set them, which is still my favorite brow gel. It has such a good hold, and I really like the brush. And it never looks clumpy or weird. All around really great brow gel. I like to use sort of like the, I don't even know if you could see that, sort of like the comb part of it and brush them up. I really like this brush as well because it doesn't pick up too much product. You can find this on Credo Beauty. I really love Eco Brow. Their pomade is like one of the first clean products I ever tried. And I've been in love ever since. Okay, I think that's it for brows. For eyes, I'm gonna keep it really simple and just do like one shade all over the lid. I'm trying out the new Au Naturel Supernatural Metallics range. These are their new cream eyeshadows, which came out in some really gorgeous metallic and jewel tone shades. This one is called Alara, which is a shimmering rose gold. And I'm just going to pop this all over my lid essentially. These are really pigmented and easy to blend in. I think they're perfect if you want like a really interesting color but you're in a rush. I think these are just really pretty. And I'm just gonna focus most of the pigment on my lid. Then whatever's left, I'm just softly bringing it into my crease. And since your eye naturally creases, even if you just have one shade, it will appear darker in your crease just because that's where the shadow of your eye falls. Really interesting little tip. I think I learned that from a Katie Jane video with Credo, I think. Something like that. So I think that looks really pretty just like that. I'm gonna do the other eye. You could really use these anywhere on your face as well. You could use it as a cream blush. I just use whatever's left on my lips. But I think that's gonna be about it for the eyes. I'm not even gonna do anything in the lower lash line. I just wanted a really quick and easy sort of pop of color. So next up, I'm gonna do some mascara. I don't have a new mascara, so I'm just gonna use my Ilia Limitless Lash, which is my favorite at the moment. Then we'll move on to the lipstick. I'm actually gonna go back into the Kjaer Weis Cream Highlight just to highlight my inner corners. This is really optional. It's sort of just like an extra step. You could also put this right on the center of your lid if you wanted a little bit more dimension. So essentially, there's the eye look. It was so quick, but I think it looks really pretty. Lastly, I have a new lipstick to me from Well People. This is the Optimist Semi Matte Lipstick in the shade Soulmate, which I thought would be really pretty with this sort of pink toned look. There's the swatch right there. I do have another shade of their lipsticks I really like. And they just launched at Ulta, which is so fun. I think they're only online, but if you want to check them out, they're on Ulta now. I really like how creamy these are, but they're more of a satin finish, so they really like stay on your lips. I'm gonna add a little bit of gloss using the St. Jane. This is a CBD infused lip gloss. This is the shade Bliss, which is like the nude. Has a little bit of shimmer though, just to add some dimension. Alright guys, there's our full face of first impressions. Really quick and easy makeup look too. Some products were not so much of a hit. Others I did really enjoy using. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna fix my hair and then we'll do the outro. I'll be back. Alright guys, that wraps up today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you did enjoy it, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss another video. My full coverage foundation guide will be up this week, so really excited about that one. Some of my absolute favorite foundations are in that category, so make sure you're subscribed. Turn on your post notifications so you don't miss it. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up so I know you like these types of things. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video.